Well, today on In the Circle, it's brought to you by Rawlings. We have Coach Rich Calvert of the Drake Bulldogs. And Coach, 21st, 22nd year. We're not sure how long you've been at Drake. You've been there a long time and seen a lot of things come and go and a lot of changes in the league. But this weekend was the first time everybody, and you guys had a chance to test out the single game over 3 days format that has been implemented into the Valley. You guys had a chance to kind of test the flexibility of that schedule. Talk about pros and cons of that after just 1 week.
Well, the pro is we were able to get all 3 games in. In past seasons, we wouldn't have been able to get all 3 games in just because Saturday was definitely the worst day of the 3 that we had. And while the temperature wasn't ideal, the sun was out. And so it wasn't really too bad. Missouri State's got a great facility as far as keeping players at a comfort level with the dugouts in the locker room. And so that was nice. You know, every facility is different. You know, we have a wind chill factor of 32 or above as we're playing, but 32 at one place may not be the 32 at another place, even though it says it's 32. And so we were fortunate that we were in a spot that we could get all 3 games in. So for us, that reason alone, yes, the first weekend out, we were able to get all 3 games in. And I think every school, but maybe Belmont and Illinois State, got all 3 games in, which you think about the weather in the Midwest, and just the cold temperatures that we had. That's good. That's real good as far as being able to get everybody in. On the con side, it was a long weekend. 1, we didn't play well, added to it, but 2, you sat all day Saturday, and it's just, and then we didn't play till 2:00 on Sunday. So, and we left on Thursday night. So it felt like a long weekend. So that's to be determined. You know, if we were the home team, I think it's a little bit different, but on the road, it's just a challenge that we all have to adjust to, because it won't be the last time that we play Friday, sit Saturday, play Sunday.
Yeah, what do you guys do when you have that off day there that you're sitting and waiting? How do you keep the kids active and kind of focused in on what really they're there for?
It's a learning curve. We were fortunate enough, Missouri State had an indoor facility that we were able to utilize for about an hour on Saturday. So it was nice to go and get them up and get them some breakfast and get out of the hotel and, go through a workout, and then came back and we ate lunch. We had a good number of parents that were down there. And so we let those who had parents go with them and spend the day doing whatever. The rest of us kind of just, this weekend was a little bit different because there was lots of basketball to watch. And so it kind of kept you occupied. And so really after lunch, we went back and hung out, and then went to dinner and watched more basketball. So, it's something that's unique. And I think it depends on where you're at and where you're sitting as far as what town you're in. And you just, the thing too is, in talking to our team, we were on spring break, but we had classes starting up here the first of this week. And so we had a number of them that were starting back on classwork and stuff. So they just hung out and did a bunch of homework.
Well, as I said, one week into the conference play, and as everybody knows, we've added 3 teams to the conference. And so how do you see the Valley stacking up softball wise, and does the addition of those teams help make the Valley a little bit stronger? What are your thoughts on the Valley as a whole?
Well, yeah, by adding the 3 teams, 2 of them in Belmont and Murray State had outstanding years last year. And so far this year, heading into conference, they had done fairly well with their preseason schedule. So I think addition of at least those 2 teams make that top half of our conference even more challenging in terms of the depth that we have. I know, Northern Iowa went down to Murray State and played extremely well and got the jump on everybody at this point in time. But, Murray State will bounce back, and it's one weekend out. I mean, I look at our performance and, give credit to Missouri State. They played extremely well and did everything they were supposed to do. And unfortunately, we didn't do a whole lot. And so sometimes that's what happens on a weekend. And so the beauty of this league is we get 27 opportunities, and 3 are down, and we still have 24 more to go. And you have to keep looking at the next game. You can't worry about what's happened. It's done. You got to flush it down the drain and move forward. And so that's our approach here as we head into Indiana State this weekend. We get to play at home. And that's nice because, all of us in our conference, with the exception of a couple of schools, are playing 25, 26, 27 games on the road, almost half of our season before we even get to play a home game. And so I know our team is excited that we finally don't have to get on a bus and we get to play at home. And so, it's one weekend. There's a lot of games in front of everybody. And so it's just a matter of going out and taking it one game at a time.
Looking at your team a year ago, you were really strong up the middle. You had a lot of experience up the middle, center field, shortstop, in the circle. All those players graduated, and Ryan and Timmons and Johnson out in center field. Not how do you replace them? Who's stepping up to replace those players? Because that's a lot of experience that you graduated.
Yeah, it's always when you lose players of their capability, it's all right. Can you replace them? And if you can't replace them, can you get close? And, the one player that I have felt that has had a really good year to date is Haley Lehman, we've moved her to the leadoff spot and has performed extremely well. She had a tough game, I think, game 2 against Missouri State. But besides that, she has done everything she needs to do to be a really good leadoff batter for us. And, she's kind of the little Swiss Army knife too, that we could kind of play her in different positions as well. But, we could float her around to the, center field, left field. We could bring her on the infield if we need to, but she has done a really nice job for us. Michaela Rice would be our other kind of our utility player that could play a lot of positions. Because of some injuries, she's had to catch a lot here recently, but I think we're getting we're going to be back at full strength, at least behind the plate, moving forward. And so that frees her up to go back to center field, and we can possibly move Haley Lehman over the left field. So, but Haley's done a really, really nice job as far as being in the leadoff spot and being able to at least have really quality at bat. Sometimes, you hit the ball right at somebody, but she's able to go deep in the counts, and she's been a tough out at the leadoff spot. So real pleased as far as what she's been doing. Aubrey Beitzinger is now playing second base, and she's somebody who really is played like 4 different positions in 4 different years. And so we've kind of settled on second base, and she's done a really nice job from the offensive standpoint in terms of just, the thing that people don't realize about Aubrey is she was always a slapper until she came here, and we started working on her swing basically the first year. And it takes time. And really, she's probably the best she's felt at the plate is this year in swinging the bat. And so she's going to continue, I think, to get better. With all of our hitters and Aubrey included, sometimes we got to understand to take a breath, relax at the plate, have a good plan and trust. And so as long as she continues to keep doing that, then she's going to be a good player for us. The other player that, and I can speak as of today, that's really played well of late is Kristen Arias, who has really been a role player for us for all 3 years. And she's getting some really good quality at bats here over the last couple of weekends. So I'm real happy that she's been able to contribute as far as in a DP role. And so the big thing moving forward is, how can we keep her bat in the lineup in terms of in certain situations as far as who we got pitching, who we got on defense and stuff like that. So those are probably, the three, two of them really up the middle. Chris is just hitting. We have some other players that are very, very capable of being good players. They're just pressing right now a little bit. And I know what they're capable of. I think they know what they're capable of. We just got to go out and perform and relax. And, if we have a bad at bat, we have to move on to the next. And sometimes we're just carrying things a little bit too much right now. And so that's kind of a work in progress.
Well, leadership on the team, but in your coaching staff, you've had a little bit of a change this season and added a couple of new coaches. Andy DeJesus joined your staff, and then former player Courtney Wood Bance, has joined your staff as a volunteer assistant. So talk a little bit about what they bring from the coaching side of it.
Courtney's kind of been on and off here for a number of years. She played here. She volunteered here for a year, took a year off, came back and volunteered, growing a family, trying to balance the work-life thing. And so just happy to have her back. And she's kind of working with the catchers, and she just kind of gives just a nice calming sense. And it's somebody you could throw some ideas off. And been around the program, like I said, for years. And so she's just done a really nice job as far as just pointing out some things and being real helpful. Andy DeJesus is in his first year, and he comes with that baseball background of having been a very, very good player at Indiana State and played in the minor leagues for a number of years. And he brings a side as far as from a technical side that we've been missing a little bit, I think, over the last couple of years, and just from teaching defense and teaching offense. And so it's a real nice addition as far as bringing in some new blood to kind of give us some different ideas and stuff. And so I'm real happy that both of them are on staff, and looking forward to hopefully having them around for a number of years.
Well, Coach, I think you have a non-conference game in the middle of the week against Missouri, and then you head back into conference play. So I know you guys are busy and working hard. So we will let you go and look forward to seeing you this upcoming weekend against Indiana State. So thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thank you, Laura.